Think of your brain as like a dog. You have to train it, you know? You have to spend time on it. You can't. Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So today I want to talk about overthinking. And overthinking is something that I do a lot of, and maybe some of you as well. And more specifically, how to deal with a cluttered mind and just how to get more into the present. It's one of those topics that I'm constantly struggling with, and I think a lot of us can relate, is that we just have so much going on in our brains and we don't really know how to deal with it. We don't want to deal with it, and we just kind of get overwhelmed. And that's been happening a lot to me lately, and I just thought, okay, what do I do to get more present? So actually that was one of my intentions for 2024, is to be more present and just to live life more in the now instead of in the future or in the past. For me specifically, it's more in the future, and I'm trying to kind of not get rid of it, because I know I won't get rid of it because that's just our brain, but just to deal better with it. And so I hope that some of these tips can help you as well. Okay, so I'm going to start with the most difficult tip, and they will get easier from here on out, I promise. So one of the things that I started doing, and I'm still implementing, so I'm not doing this perfectly, by the way, is to find a spot in nature somewhere, preferably outdoor, and sit there every day. So actually, maybe I rewind to where I get this from. So I went to this forest bathing event in the Botanical Gardens in Melbourne recently. It was beautiful. And it was a really cool experience. It was for 3 hours. And one of the tips they gave us was that, yeah, we should sit in a spot in nature. And we did this, sat there for like 15 to 20 minutes on our mat or just on the grass, and just sat there with nothing else. Like, there was no instructions. It's not like, okay, you have to meditate now, or you have to get rid of your thoughts, or you have to do this and this and this. It's more just like sit there and absorb all the sounds, the sights, the smells, and the feelings that you feel. So really get into your senses and just see what happens. And it was actually one of the most powerful experiences. Is like, you see after a while that, you know, you can only think so much until you notice your thoughts going round and round and round in circles, and then you kind of appreciate this spot in nature and you love it, and you're like, wow, I'm so present. So this is one of those things that I'm starting to implement now every day. Is not, I mean, I can't always find, I'm traveling right now, I'm like out and about in a different Airbnb every week, or staying with family, and so it's a bit difficult to find this daily spot. But if you can have this daily spot outside, or even in your apartment, maybe by the window, or in a park or something, and sit there and see what happens. Just be there, be in the present. And I know this is probably sounds easy, but it's not. So if you manage to do this, I am like, wow, I'm amazed at you, because it is a very difficult thing to do, to just sit there and do nothing. And it might feel like you're wasting your time at times, but it definitely is not a waste of time, I promise you. Then delete Instagram for a weekend or a few days or a week. This is something that I do every now and then. It really helps me because I get addicted to Instagram, and I just find myself opening as soon as I get bored, and it clutters my mind with more thoughts and more ideas and more input, and that's not what I need right now. So I deleted it, and I did this over the weekend when I went to the Great Ocean Road, which is near Melbourne, where I am right now, and it was so nice. Honestly, I didn't even miss it. And I did find myself kind of opening and reopening my phone and trying to find the app, but I couldn't. And then I was just like, oh, okay, put my phone down and just forgot about it. And yeah, this might be a different app for you. Maybe not Instagram, maybe another app, but yeah, try it and delete it. Just delete it for a while. See what happens. Okay, the other thing I do is to use my Notes app on my phone. I've got an iPhone, and they've got this clever little simple Notes app, and I use it religiously. If someone were to go into this app and read all of my notes, they would be even more confused. They would be like, oh wow, what is this girl thinking about? Like, so many thoughts. But I promise you, it really works for me to just get it all down on paper, or like in front of me, so I can read back on it and be like, okay, you're thinking this and this again and again and again. Maybe that's something you should figure out how to take action on. Or I just notice my thinking patterns, and it It also makes me a little bit calmer because I know I've got my thoughts down somewhere and I don't have to keep it all in my head. So I know this is an obvious one, but, and I know that a lot of people recommend journaling, which is something I also recommend. But if that doesn't work for you, try the notes thing and just like type it on your phone. It's so easy and you can do it anytime. You don't even need to title your notes, just like write down whatever. And it gives my mind some calmness for a little while at least. So I know a lot of people recommend journaling as a technique or a tool to really, to practice every day. And I'm going to be one of those people and recommend it as well, because I have to say journaling regularly is just like this time, and it gives your brain some peace and quiet because you know, okay, every day I have 15 to 30 minutes or whatever long you take to just deal with my thoughts and deal with my current issues. And it just gives you some peace because you know, okay, here I can write this down. At least when I journal, I do this, that I take the time to write down my current issues or things that I'm thinking about and just like figure out solutions for them on paper, and or at least think about the next action steps that I have to take in order to kind of overcome these issues. And this practice alone just really helps me to have this, like, you have the scheduled time for thinking and the scheduled time for dealing with all of your thoughts, and it gives your brain a lot of peace because it knows that, hey, afterwards I can, just let go a little bit and I don't have to worry about these thoughts because I know I've got this dedicated time. I know this is easier said than done, and I know that this is not how the brain exactly works. You can't just give it like these, you can't compartmentalize it, at least not the female brain. I mean, I'm not sure about males, maybe you're different, but it is, of course, a little bit difficult in practice, but it can work and it does help over time, especially when you train your brain that, this is when I think about these issues, and the rest of the time I'm going to be more focused and in the present. So I'm in Australia right now and in Melbourne visiting my sister and just having some much needed time off and evaluating a lot of things, as you can tell by my videos. And one of the things that has really helped me here is to have this like daily ritual that I look forward to. And this might help you as well to kind of get more in the present. And for me, that's been coffee. So getting my daily morning coffee, and I look forward to it every single day. I get coffee every day, every morning, and I always get it from maybe a different coffee shop or the same coffee shop, but it's like my rituals to go out and get a morning coffee. And it's like this thing that I look forward to, and it's a thing where I'm really present. I really enjoy my coffee. I drink it with a lot of gratitude. I drink it like with just very much intention, and I just like savor every single sip of coffee. It sounds a bit crazy, but that's how it is for me with coffee here because the coffee's so good. Yeah, if you can find something like this, like a ritual that you look forward to every day, it doesn't have to be coffee. It can be like your walk, or it can be your like cooking your meal very intentionally, just like these literal little rituals that you do that you look forward to genuinely, and where you can really be in the present. Also having hobbies. Oh my God, like hobbies are so underrated. I know that, yeah, we always talk about hustling, we always talk about side hustles. That's always this thing. It's like, oh, you gotta turn your passion into your business or whatever. But what happened to hobbies? Just plain old hobbies where you don't try to turn it into a side hustle and don't try to make money from it. Because I think as soon as you put money into the equation, it's like you already think about, like, how can I monetize this? You think about productivity, like the output. Whereas if you have a hobby that you genuinely enjoy, where you can be in the present moment and just enjoy the activity itself, then I think that is worth so much, and it helps you to get into the present and live more in the present. For me, that's been improv theater. It sounds random and some people don't know what it is, but basically it is like drama or acting, but improvised and like on the spot. So you don't practice or rehearse anything. It's just like on the spot, and you do these games or you rehearse something together in a scene with a group. And I took some classes last year in Berlin, and I'm gonna keep on doing that. It's like my new hobby and I love it. I love it so much. Every time I'm there, I'm like present for 2-3 hours straight, and I leave with the biggest smile on my face and I feel so present. And it's just like this activity that has given me so much, so much. It's given me so much. So find that for you, and that can be a thing that can really help you to also deal with your cluttered mind and just like give it a rest, give it a break. Okay, so I have 2 more tips, but I think they're pretty obvious, but I'm just gonna quickly mention them. One of the things, forget your phone every now and then, like just leave it at home. Don't take it everywhere. Like if you know you're not gonna need it, just don't take it. Unless of course you're a person who needs your phone like for safety reasons or whatever. But yeah, if you can, try and forget it every now and then. It really helps. Then the other thing I wrote down on my notes is to, yeah, get away from your normal environment every now and then if you can. Take a road trip, go to a different restaurant, go to a different area of your city, take a different route to work, because that will give your brain some time to think about like other activities, and it won't be like in this routine frame of mind where it's like, oh, okay, going through the motions, and it can have this space to think about other things. Like if you change your route or whatever, it has to focus on that. So give your brain some rest and give it something else to do. Like it's like a little kid that you have to train, or it's like a little dog or something. Think of your brain as like a dog. You have to train it, you have to spend time on it. You can't just like let it sleep all the time, or let it think and let it play by itself. Anyway, that was a weird analogy, but like, I hope you get my point. Okay, and lastly, before I wrap up this video, which has been very rambly, but I hope very helpful so far, and that is to, it's just some real talk, and that is to realize that it's okay to sometimes just think a bit more. Like there will be moments in our lives, and I think we have to acknowledge that. We can't always just be in the present. It's just not possible. There's a lot going on right now, and sometimes we just have to think a lot. We have worries and doubts and fears, and that's okay. That's like so human, and I think that's why we need to also not be so hard on ourselves if we find ourselves overthinking and beating ourselves up about it, because it's not going to help you. It's like, okay, that's right now, that's what happens. And I think one of the best pieces of advice that I've heard, I'm not sure where exactly, but in many books or talks or whatever, it is that you should focus on the things that you can control versus the things that you can't control. So focusing more on the things where you really have an influence, like, when you're job hunting, that the things you can control is like how good your applications are, how many you send, but not which jobs you then actually get. Or, like your thoughts are like, things that happen around the world, in other countries. Yes, it's horrible, but what can you control? You can maybe talk to other people about it. You can donate. You can get involved in activism, for example. Like these are just things that you can control, but you can't always control the outcome, and that's something that you have to sometimes just acknowledge and be okay with, because yeah, what else can you do, right? So anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. This was rambly, but I hope it was helpful. These are just some of the things that have helped me recently to deal with my crazy, overwhelmed mind, and to feel more present, to get more grounded, and to just, yeah, kind of fulfill my intention for the year, to be more present in day-to-day life. And I'm working on it every single day. It's not easy, and I'm sure for you as well, but we can get there, and with these little tools and tips. If you did find it helpful, please give this video a like. It would really support my channel. And also, if you have any other things that have helped you to stay grounded, like what are you doing to kind of be in the present, then please let me know in the comments. And also, it's helpful for other people to read as well. And then I'll see you in my next video. Bye.